is Stephanie Corazza. I am a full-time student and I study at the University of Guelph Humber.
My name is Luis Di Camello. I am born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm 34 years old. I am married with a baby on the way.
Hello, my name is Graham John Salvatera. I'm from Brampton, Ontario, in Canada. It's right near Toronto. So I am a student, film student, writer, director, and executive producer. I've produced about 10 shorts so far.
My name is Ben Cussman. I'm from New York City, and my family is originally from Trentino.
My name is Chiara Montanetti, and I am from Los Angeles, California.
My name is Rachel Cristofellini. I'm 19 years old. I go to college in Massachusetts, and I love photography. It's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Hi, my name is Michael Cristofellini, second generation Italian.
My name is Stephanie Aumann from New York, from Queens, New York, in the United States.
5 words to describe myself would be loving, caring, friendly, outgoing, spontaneous.
I am athletic. I am very social, fun,
energetic, bubbly, thoughtful.
5 words that describe me are loud and encouraging, perseverant, outgoing, and loving.
My career path is in quality for defense and space, and also now it's in the medical field.
Just finished a teaching degree, so I would like to teach and spend some time in classrooms teaching in high school. Between grade 9 to grade 12, history and geography.
So I'm actually an educator at Microsoft. So one of my biggest passions is connecting other people using technology and teaching people skills that will help them in the workforce and help them be a better person in the world. So I create online content that teaches people to program and develop apps. And aside from that, as a young woman working in technology and working at Microsoft, I've started a blog called Trendy Techie, trendytechie.ca if you want to look at it. And it's really about my experience as a young woman who travels a lot, works in technology, and kind of doesn't have to choose between being a woman and being smart. Because a lot of the time in technology, you're not assumed that you can code if you're a woman. And that's really unfortunate because these stereotypes are very negative.
I just graduated law school, so I will be starting as a lawyer in August.
I am a director of photography.
So I am double majoring in college, history and education. So I want to be a history teacher.
Well, right now for a job, I work at a wholesale flower nursery called Atlantic Nursery out in Long Island. I take care of 9 greenhouses by myself. I water plants, I plant plants, propagate them. I help sell plants, I help trim them. I basically maintain. I'm a farmer, basically. That's what it is. That's what it says in my W-4 papers, that I'm a farmer.
I'm a full-time student, so I don't really have a job per se. My job is doing homework, pretty much.
I work for Crane Stationery in North Adams, Massachusetts. Crane Stationery is a 200-plus-year-old company, and our sister company prints the paper for currency of the United States and Canada and other countries in South America and around the world. So it's pretty exciting.
My occupation is I work in IT consulting. I am a national account sales support person. So essentially, while that is a very illustrious title, I essentially get a lot of IT people jobs.
In my future, that's a good question. At the moment, I'm taking some time off studying, and I'm working at a restaurant, but that's not what I want to do in my life. I'm mostly playing music. I'm working on an album, and to be honest, if I could make that my future, playing music for a living, I would love it. That is my dream.
My dream for my life in general is to travel around the world, go into dangerous situations like war zones and things like that, and do documentary film about them.
In the future, I would like to get my MBA. So I would like to go to business school. Hopefully, it's in the 5-year plan. And of course, on a more personal side, I would love to get married and have children, and just be happy and successful.
Well, I would like to get into TV running very much because TV is the future.
I would like to own my own photography studio with an art gallery attached to it, because as a photographer and trying to get my name out there, I know how hard it is. So I want to have just feature only local artists in the art gallery and help them get their name out and help them start their careers.
What do I want to do in my life? I want to retire early and visit Italy as often as I can, and maybe spend the last days there.
The word tradition means to carry on something that your family has been doing for a while, and it shows that you care and you want to pass on that tradition throughout your family and keep it going.
Tradition means it needs to be kept alive. Tradition for me, honestly, and I know it sounds like so like Trentino-centric, but it's cannoli. Every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, we make cannoli, whether we put it in our turkey as stuffing, which is a totally different way to have it, and you should all try it, or making the meatballs with my family, with my mother and my tias and my sister, just working on it together.
It's very important to me to know about my origins because, again, there's the tradition aspect, there's the family aspect. I've had a great time, going to La Val di Non to visit my family there. I have many relatives, cousins, that kind of thing. So that's very important to me as well.
Tradition is where you put a bunch of monkeys in a room, and every time they go for the bananas, you spray them with water. So then you put in a new monkey, and when they go for the banana, they beat the crap out of them. That's tradition. You don't know why you're doing it. You just do it just because everyone else did it.
It is very important for me to know about my origins, especially since there's so much mystery around who their family was, where they came from. It's been very important to me to go there and actually meet people and make contacts with people that I may be related to, may not be related to, or people that have information on putting my family story together. I
am one of 4 boys in my family, and I grew up with my grandmother that was from Trentino, living in a house in the back of where I lived as a child. And I spent many days with her, many afternoons with her, many meals with her. She was essentially our babysitter as children. So the heritage of Trentino was very alive and well with her, as she was born and raised there. And family is including that heritage and passing it on to my family.
My mother, of course, always told us the story about how my family came over. My family, I don't know if anybody knows a lot about Cavadogo, but Cavadogo is very poor, very few families. So, my grandmother, my great-grandma, my bisnonna, when she was in Italy during the war, the Germans came, they took all our jewelry, all our money. So my grandmother had to go to the monastery, and she had to scrub the floor, then she had to help out the monks and the nuns just to get food to bring back. So my nonna's father decided that he wanted to be an American. So he came over, he renounced their whole entire family citizenship, made them American citizens. So when my grandmother and her siblings came over, they were able to come in through North Carolina, not Ellis Island, and they came over as citizens.
I think my favorite story that my nonna told me from when she came over was when she went to the mall for the first time. And she was so surprised to see sale in all of the windows, but it was sale. So not salt, but sale. I love that story.
I do remember a story about my family immigration. My grandfather's mother and his grandmother, so my great and great-great-grandmothers, back in the early 1900s, I believe it was 1912, they wanted to come over to America because it was the cool and new thing to do, and they wanted to explore. And they didn't have passports the same way that we do today. They just had several papers. And for some reason or the other, they couldn't get onto the ship to come over because either they didn't have all the papers or something was wrong. They ended up having to go a month later. But the ship that they were originally going to go on was the Titanic.
Really?
Yes. So my dad and myself and my sister and my grandfather and my uncles are all pretty lucky to be here because there's a chance that we were not.
My family history is a little bit jaded as far as what other people's has been here. My family came to America because they were fugitives in Italy, and they came to America illegally. It wasn't until after World War II that they actually applied for citizenship and were able to do that. They fled Italy because they assaulted a priest and were excommunicated from the church, and they came here in hiding, and they all split up and decided not to speak to each other again because they didn't want to get each other in trouble in case one person was found and one wasn't. So it's been very difficult for us to track down our actual family. They used different names, and they worked under the radar and everything.
My great-grandfather, bisnonno, came to the United States very, very long time ago to work in the coal mines in Illinois. And then he worked there for a little time, and then my grandfather was born here, but then he went back to Italy, to La Val di Non, and he was raised there. My grandfather was raised there, but when World War II started, he didn't want to be drafted to fight against the Americans, and since he was an American citizen because he was born here, he got on the last boat out to America.
I have never been in Italy, unfortunately, but I will be going very soon.
I have never been to Italy. I'm planning on it. There's definitely opportunities to study abroad with my school, but there's a whole bunch of other places that I want to go, but I'm definitely going to consider the exchange program that is available to me and probably go after my college and kind of be like, I graduated college, let's go do something fun.
I've been to Enno about 9 times, so 9 summers I've spent in the Val di Non. Hang out with my cousins. I like to hike because hiking the mountains are absolutely breathtaking, and we have nothing like that, you know. So I love hiking. I love to, you know, eat the food there. They have very good food. And, you know, I mean, most of it's just like hanging out with family, just seeing relatives.
Oh, yeah, I was actually in Italy for a while. I remember I was good. I've just been trying to figure out my way in the world for the longest time. I was on my teaching rant at that point, so I spent like about 3 or 4 months over in Italy, mostly in Ramallo, a little bit in Claes and Revo, in that general area. It's very interesting. I got to learn the language. I got to meet all the people, eat amazing food every day.
I have not been to Italy. I come from a family of 5, so it's a bit expensive, and my parents put us through private education our whole entire lives. So they felt that our education was more important than going to Italy. But my friend just moved to Milan for love, so I will be trying to schedule a trip at one point to get there, and since he is in Milan, he will be driving me up to Trento.